Hello, this is Heather Hoffman, and I'm here to share a bright Christmassy card using the October 2020 kit of the month. I'm doing a little bit of double layer heat embossing and some distress inking with some splatters. I love that little garland of ornaments, so I'm going to go ahead and use that on my card, and then the fun kind of blocky sentiment on there. I'm going to use my Misty to line this up, and I'm using just some white, good sturdy cardstock. This is Nina 110-pound solar white. And I'm lining up that little ornament border kind of at a fun angle, a little off the edges. I'm going to use my embossing powder tool there first so that nothing sticks where I don't want it to. And I'm going to stamp it with clear embossing ink. I'm going to do it a couple times just to make sure I've got a really good clear impression. Now, I don't want to have to clean that stamp off each time as I move along, so I'm using kind of a fun trick I found. This is just a clear card sleeve. Any kind of clear packaging, acetate, whatever, is going to allow you to position this where you want, pick it up with your Misty lid, and not have to worry about getting any smudges or anything on your finished project. So it's kind of a fun trick I found as I start laying these on here. And I can kind of see the clear stamping underneath there. It's hard to see in the video, I know, but you can kind of see where that little bit of spot is. So it makes it easier to kind of line this up where you want. I kind of just played around until I was happy with the arrangement. Same thing there, and I'm going to stamp that 2 times as with the others so that I make sure and have lots of stamping on there. Now I'm going to move on. I'm going to very carefully set that sentiment in place. You notice I haven't sprinkled any heat embossing powder or anything on. I'm going to stamp this with heat embossing friendly ink. This is VersaFine Onyx Black. It's a nice crisp black ink, and I'm going to stamp it a good 3 times just to make sure I have it really well stamped on there and lots of ink and a great dark crisp impression. All right, now I'm going to take this all at once and I'm going to sprinkle clear embossing powder. That's going to stick to my clear stamping and also to my sentiment on there. So this is kind of a fun way to get 2 different colors but all in one layer. And those clear bits, you can see them on there, I think, where the powder is. Not super well yet, but as we add our distress inks over the top, those are magically going to pop out and really appear, and that's going to help those to shine a little bit more. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do my heat embossing on here. You can see the embossing powder melting on both layers, and it all just kind of melts together. Now that that's all done, we're going to go ahead and start adding a little bit of color to this panel. So I've got 4 colors of distress inks. I'm starting off there with Worn Lipstick. I'm just going to start in a corner and kind of keeping my color fairly soft. I'm just building it up as I want. The great thing with ink blending is you can keep adding more and more color over the top to get as deep a shade as you want. But you can start as light as you want and have it as soft. So even if they're deeper colors and you want to keep them a little more pastel, in the end I did end up with a fairly bright panel. But as you can see there, I didn't start with it super duper dark to start with. I just kind of built up my color slowly. All right, that second color I did there was Lucky Clover. Now I'm doing some Picked Raspberry. And then in the end there, I'm going to finish off with Mermaid Lagoon. Stamping those with clear embossing powder, you can see how they're resisting the ink. So I feel like it's like one of those kid paint with water, those magic that when you're a kid just felt like total magic as you go over the top and everything starts to appear. And I'm going back around and deepening the color. This is where I'm getting bolder and brighter than I at first started off with. And again, just building up. I love these bright colors together. I just thought that they were super fun and kind of a non-traditional Christmas palette going on here. All right, now I'm going to grab all those same colors and add a little coordinating splatter onto my project. So I smushed those onto a clear block, added a little bit of water with a tiny paintbrush, and I'm kind of aiming for the areas where that color already is, so it's a little bit of a tone-on-tone look. But you can kind of see on there, splatters do what splatters want to do. So they're kind of going where they want, and it's okay if they overlap a little. You're still going to get that fun and lovely splattery effect. Again, I'm just kind of trying to keep them mostly aimed where there was already that color there. And my desk is a mess, so got to clean those splatters up so it doesn't get on anything else that I want to keep white all the way till the end. All right, then I just dipped my fingers into that water and added a few heavier splashes. That's going to react with that distress ink. You can see there on that dried panel, and it adds just a fun little extra additional bit of texture. All right, I'm going to finish off with mounting this up on some foam on a white card base. I've started taking kids fun foam and wide score tape just to make large foam panels for mounting onto my cards. So this makes it really easy just to pop that up on a really good sturdy foam base. Then I'm going to pull out, you got to finish with a little bit of sparkle. So I've got a few pretty sparkly jewels here from Pretty Pink Posh, and I'm just going to kind of color coordinate them and sprinkle them around, matching them to my background. This is just a mix of different colors that I thought was a fairly good match, and mixing different sizes, different colors. I like to kind of put them in clusters of 2 and 3, just because it's kind of a good pleasing to the eye sort of number to do on there. I ended up, I did pull out a different set of jewels as well, and I spent a lot of time just kind of fiddling around with these until I was happy. But you can see there, I needed another color, so I ended up pulling out one of my other mixes and found that color that I was just kind of missing in there and was able to coordinate that in there. Then I also tucked some of just the plain white ones around the sentiment, since I had all the colors kind of converging where that sentiment was. The white was just kind of a great thing to pop against all of those different colors. So great way to finish that off. And as I adhere these on with my crystal katana and a little bit of glossy accents, this is just kind of the finishing touch on this card. Nice and sparkly, lots of fun, bright colors. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it inspired you to get started on some simple ideas for your Christmas cards as well. Here's one final closer look. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful day.